Hi, welcome to So Darn Fun. My name's Carrie, and this is a channel about quality clothing alterations, pattern reviews, and useful sewing how-tos. Today's sewing how-to is in the form of a quick practical tip, which is my quick practical tip number 4. And this is for rolled hems on a serger. Have you ever done it around a curve, on the bias, on chiffon, and had it peel away like this? How frustrating, aggravating, and time-consuming. Well, I have got 2 tips to share with you that just might change your experience with rolled hems. Don't go away. Hold the intro. This is a quick practical tip, so let's just get to it. The first thing I want you to do is take a look at your serger and see if you have a lower blade that can either be removed or rotated out of the way. I'm sewing on a Husky Lock 936 Viking machine that they no longer make, but I did get it on eBay several years ago and I've been very happy with it. Except for those few times when I've had to go around a curve on a chiffon hem and it doesn't want to stay on, it peels off. I've tried all the tips in the book. I've looked up all kinds of stuff on the internet and nothing really seemed to help my problem. So on a recent project, one thing that I finally discovered is this. Lower the knife, mark your hem. I've shown this in other videos how I chalk mark a hem. So when you have this chalk line, I want you to trim away about 1/8 of an inch beyond it. I want the white line lined up here, the corner of my presser foot, which visually is just barely to the right of my needle. I don't want the fabric to stick off too much to the right of this plate here. This is where the knife would be cutting, right here. So I don't really want my fabric to stick much farther than this here, if any at all, or it's going to get caught up in all those loopers, and you do not want that. You might break or damage your machine. With this gold lame, there's bound to be some pokies. And there's a few, but notice I'm using white thread, so it's a huge contrast, so you'll be able to see there's a nice roll under there. That is not bad at all. Not bad. The second tip is so easy, and I accidentally discovered this, and that was my lower blade actually needed replacing. I bought off-brand lower blades that did not do a thing, and they were frustrating me. They wouldn't cut cotton. So I went through 2 of those, threw them away, and went to my dealer, got the brand that went to my machine. That knife worked. And I was trying to replicate the problem so that I could make this video, and I couldn't even replicate it. I sewed on chiffon around a bias, around a curve, and it stayed on beautifully. It's so beautiful. Let me show you with my knife up. My new knife. I'm going to use some red chiffon. And you'll see I don't have any trouble cutting. I don't have any trouble. I'm going to do a big curve. Actually, I already did it earlier, but I'm going to show you. Coming up on the bias now. This is where I usually have trouble. I've just done a big curve. Let me remove the fabric and I'll show you what it looks like. Around the curve. Little blobby there. And I'm just using regular serger thread. I'm not using any special filament thread. And if this was done with a red thread, of course it would look a whole lot nicer. But I have gone just around this big curve here, and it all stayed on as with a brand new blade. It was a whole different story with my other blade. So maybe all I needed actually was to replace my lower blade, but if you're in a position where you need to get this done now, you don't have time to replace your blade, fall back to my tip number 1 by trimming just 1/8 inch beyond where you want that hem. Put that line exactly on the edge of your sole plate there and stitch away. Thanks for joining me today on So Darn Fun. I'm always so happy when I hear that you've watched my videos. Truly, it brings my heart joy. Thank you for your likes and your subscribes. See you next time, and keep on sewing.